A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is what the U.S. Constitution states as our Second Amendment. But what does this really mean? In simple terms, this means that we all hold the right to own weapons such as guns. If the Constitution had a fine print, it would probably also say as long as you have not committed a serious crime. If you follow all of the laws and lawfully own your gun, you should be able to carry a gun for self-defense purposes, right? Not quite. In order to carry a gun, you not just have to own the gun, but you also have to apply and be approved for a permit. A big issue with this is that in some areas, the perfect citizen with a completely clean criminal and mental health record can still be denied a conceal or open carry license. Some may even argue that lawful citizens who are being denied these permits are also being denied their Second Amendment rights. Others disagree and think that guns should not be a civilian weapon and should be specifically for law enforcement and military-type situations. While this is on the more extreme side of the argument, many people believe this. Many also believe that there should be stricter laws for gun violence and that background checks should be more rigorous, especially on the mental health side of the issue. Senator Christopher Murphy is one of the many people who believes that civilian gun use has gone way too far.
Theory that became over time so attractive to the Republican Party. The gun industry, in cahoots with the gun lobby, the NRA and the Gun Owners of America, they've created a fantasy construct of a world in which citizens need to arm themselves against an out-of-control government. Instead of one gun, you need 10 or 20 or 40 so that you can arm yourself in your neighborhood when the black helicopters start landing in your backyards. Oh, and you better also stockpile a year's worth of ammunition, just in case.
According to the Crime Prevention Research Center, from the 1950s through July 10th of 2016, 98.4% of mass shootings have occurred on gun-free zones, with just 1.6% occurring where citizens are allowed to have firearms with them. Isla Shapiro and an information specialist from the NRA both agree that gun-free zones do not help and may even encourage some crime.
All well and good. On the second point about the so-called gun-free zones, the caller is absolutely right. Effectively, if all you do to prevent guns in your establishment is to put up a sign saying no guns allowed and enforce your property rights, which are your rights, well, then the only people that are going to have guns in that establishment are the criminals. There are already guns against murder. They're not going to follow your rule against guns. So,
you look at Chicago, highest murder rate in the entire country. Illinois, one of the most anti-gun states in the country, probably top 10 easy. Maybe even top 5 anti-gun states. And specifically, Chicago has some ordinances that further restrict Illinois' already very, very difficult gun circumstances or gun laws.
Many people are always talking about assault rifles, but what exactly is this? Many people label military-style weapons as assault rifles when simply they are just semi-automatic weapons. When you think of an assault rifle, you usually visualize an AR-15 because that AR must stand for assault rifle or automatic rifle. But this is incorrect. It stands for Armalite, the company in which first manufactured an AR-15. Most of the things the media calls an assault rifle is simply just a military-style weapon without the military-style capabilities of being an automatic weapon. Sheriff Jeff Taylor explains the gun laws in California and how they can be improved.
Because possession of an unlawful knife is a felony. Possession of an unlawful weapon is only a misdemeanor. So, they talk about wanting to solve gun violence. Well, they need to increase the crime and punishment for illegal possession of guns across the board. If you did that, at least it would hopefully make people think twice about owning an illegal weapon or possession of a weapon when they shouldn't have. But currently, it's lower than technically a knife is worse punishment.
This being said, we need to be sure to enforce the laws already in place before adding new ones. Our Second Amendment rights are just as important and should be treated the same as all of our other rights. This is stated by Ari Kolokithas, police retiree and owner of Mil-Spec Armory.
Gun. First Amendment protects your freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if I told you that in California, here's a list of things that you're allowed to say. Do you still have freedom of speech? Partially, right? And what if I told you, because you have to get a permit to buy a gun, a handgun, a firearm safety certificate, what if I told you, in order to say something from this list of things, you first have to give California $25, take a test, and get a certificate that says that you can say one of these things. Do you still have freedom of speech?
When our founding fathers created the Constitution, it was created to protect our country, our government, and most importantly, our citizens. If we lose our Second Amendment rights, what would make any of our other constitutional rights any different at all? Dear Mr. Trump and all of Congress, I am asking you to take what I have just informed you on into consideration. As the writer Voltaire once said, I may disagree with what you have to say, but I will defend your right to say it. I hope you can take this into consideration with my video, as well as looking at other videos. I also hope you can carry this into your presidency over the next 4 years. Thank you and good luck.